Okay, my name is David Pinto, Happy Sea Urchin, and a few of the kids that I teach in school, in fact, kids that I don't even know, okay, have come up to me saying they've subscribed to my channel. Okay, so I think I might as well say something to you and to anybody else who's watching this. So I'll talk for a few minutes. This is old school. I am old. I'm grey. Okay, so I'm going to talk for a bit. I just watched a video called Ex-OpenAI Employee Reveals Terrifying Future of AI. It's a guy called Matthew Berman. Have a look at his channel. Might put the link if I can work out how to do that. And he's had 145,000 views in the last 6 days about this. And basically he goes over a document which is 135 pages, 165 pages by a guy called Leopold Aschenbrenn, an ex-OpenAI employee. Okay, and he wrote this 165 pages. This guy, Matthew Berman, goes over it. And it's quite nice and it describes some things. Now, a little bit about what he's talking about. AI is going to super accelerate within the next 5 years. So some of the kids come up to me are like 12. So they won't even get to adulthood. Okay. By the time what this guy's saying is going to happen. So you're watching this, whatever, if you're like 12, it's like, so this is going to happen before I leave school, maybe. Okay, and if you're kind of at the end of school or you've just left school, we're talking about less than 5 years, 5 or 6 years. He is saying, because of the rate of change, we're talking about the fact that AI is going to get super intelligent. Not just AI, not just AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, kind of like our level of intelligence, I guess. We're talking multiple, I call it multiple artificial general intelligences, magi, like in my book. Anyway, so this guy, this book, this manifesto that this guy writes, equates it to us creating the equivalent of a nuclear bomb. Okay, so in history, us brilliant adults developed a nuclear bomb, and it ended the Second World War, but it could have, if it got into the wrong hands, it was developed by other people, it could have continued the war in some way. It's the equivalent of the Manhattan Project. That's what this guy's saying. That the Americans have to put the equivalent amount of effort that they put into the Manhattan Project, which produced the nuclear bomb. Because the power of the superintelligent is going to change everything. And in the wrong hands, it's a complete and utter disaster. Okay? Now, if you just look right now, and the reason why this is interesting to you is because in the past, if you were a little kid, you wouldn't even have heard about the Manhattan Project while you were in England, for example, in a school, at Victoria College in Jersey. And it's only afterwards you would have heard about it after the bomb goes off. Whereas we're now living in a time where the Manhattan Project hasn't begun and you've actually heard about it. Okay? And so everybody is now aware of things that are happening in the world at such a significant level, the equivalent of nuclear bombs, worse or more powerful and having greater effect. And all the people, all the adults in governments are thinking about this. Some of them are thinking about this and putting lots of money, we're talking about millions, billions, into the precursor, okay, to the Manhattan Project. Okay, they haven't got together for the Manhattan Project yet, but they're going to, okay, because there's China is a big player, and then there's the Middle East is a big player, and you've got America and Europe is a big player. And you've got lots of companies. You've heard of Elon Musk, who's head of Tesla and SpaceX and various other things. The person with the most money, as an individual, into the billions. I think he's a trillionaire. Is he a trillionaire? He might be a trillionaire. And he just got, I think, a bonus for 46 billion. Imagine that. You've done such a great job, you get 46 billion. Like in a payment. So these are the kind of players. But instead of in the past, these people being like so far away from you in reality, I'm saying that they're playing this game now, and so are you. Okay, we all are. The trick is the power that you have and I have appears to be very insignificant. Okay, what's the point of talking about this, thinking about this? Well, I've developed mechanisms that, if you use them, changes the world. And you don't have to be a multi-billionaire. You can just be a little person. Because the agency of your listening is very, very valuable. And if you use that agency by sharing, for example, this video forwards through scale, if you just share it with a friend of yours, it's just YouTube that's making some money, and advertisers, and the whole machinery continues. But if you share it through scale, okay, there's money flow, and we're using an alternative economic, which means that your agency of listening and sharing, and then 2 or 3 of the people watch it, and then they share it forwards, and 2 or 3 watch it. That's exponential growth with money flow. And the richest person on the planet does not have access to this. Okay, you do. Okay. And so there's something about how we engage. Now, that's why I try to bring in my classes. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I failed so miserably to communicate to my fellow adults, or my peers, that I'm leaving the school with very little success. Okay, and in fact, most of my classes don't understand what I'm doing with ABC classes. And we need to get A-state classes. Now, in my little plan of world change, I'm saying I'm giving schools about 10 years, 12 years in fact, to get to the position where we have an A-state school. An A-state school where the people in charge are the kids. Okay, but to get that to happen means we're trusting these kids, but the kids trust the adults to help them. Okay, so the adults are helpful, are useful. We actually do know a few things like maths and stuff, but we're trying to help you deal with this ridiculous situation that's going on in the world. Okay, and if we get an A-state school, it means there's a whole bunch of other schools that are close to having an A-state school. There's lots of classes having A-state. There's lots of year groups having A-state. Lots of houses having A-state. And it means that they can self-organize and listen, and you're really operating well as a team. So you get to have fun, you socialize, but you also get the maths done and the English. You get all the tedious stuff done, but in a way which is slightly more interesting, but you get the results, but you're in control. And that way of being in control amongst yourselves is something that adults cannot do. They need to have hierarchy. They need to have somebody in charge. They need to have somebody paying them. Okay? Whereas you're not doing that. You're just doing it collectively because it works. It's fun. It's better. Classes are more enjoyable. Teachers like you more. It's just better. Okay? And we didn't come up with a solution to that. We didn't. Adults. You did amongst yourselves. Now, I've given 12 years because it's a kind of slow process to learn these skills. But, I've been trying, it just happens in a classroom. And my classes, a couple of them managed to get A-state, genuinely, but couldn't quite maintain it. Because there are too many people in there, they're a bit too selfish, and they're not listening to each other, and so it collapses out of that state. And once they toggle that, wait a minute, it gets a lot better if I do listen to my friends, the loud people listen to the quiet people. If we get that to happen, amazing things happen. How is that related to AI? We need to self-organize. I've been wanting to do. I've been trying to do this for quite a while with adults. I failed miserably, but I've written a book, Fulcrum, and it's about this kind of topics. And so, whatever you think is going on, and as these things pop up on your radar regarding AI and how it starts to appear in school and how the adults are talking about it, most of the adults talking about it are very far away from the people actually creating it. So, for example, this guy Leopold Aschenbrenn, or this guy talking about it, Matthew Berman, he actually produces AI agents and does a website about how to learn how to do it. Have a check it out, okay? But I'm not really interested in all that. I'm interested in what do we do as organics? How do we get together, listen to each other, improve the quality of our lives at scale? And if we do it at scale, with an alternative economic that is not based on buying and selling, we can avoid many of the problems that adults are thinking about and worried about. And the AI once it becomes a super intelligent, might be able to trust us if we are actually operating as an A state humanity. But if we're still operating as a C state humanity, it's bad news for us organics. Okay. So my name is David Pinso, and thank you very much for listening, and share it forwards. Your agency, your listening, is the most valuable thing on the planet. So take care of it, take care of your friends, be well.